All right, Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory is to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Greatmillstone. Shalom to you sincere brethren out there that's exalting the names of Yahweh Yahweh Shai. Diligently continue to push out this gospel in all truth, faith, and sincerity. So the topic of this lesson is going to be centered around grinding. And what I have on the screen is the image of a millstone. And a millstone actually symbolizes working, man. And when you come into this fold, you got to gear up your mind and prepare yourself to grind and do the work. Now, when you consider these different camps, you have a lot of men, they examine what group they want to join or attach themselves or associate themselves with. And the Apostle Taha, touched on this. The reason why a lot of those guys join those other camps, such as IUIC, is because it's compatible to their lifestyle. They still able to coexist with the world. They can rock the dreads, get lineups, and ultimately, it's not an emphasis on doing the work. In opposed of coming here at Greatmillstone. When you come into Greatmillstone, it's pretty much the entrance to that narrow path to salvation. That level of difficulty, that straight gate. Why? Because it's restrictions here at Greatmillstone, man. You got to come out of the world, but ultimately, it's a emphasis on doing the work, on grinding. And in the spirit, the Lord labeled us with that title, Greatmillstone, because that very image, that very idea of a millstone symbolizes grinding, man. And the latest example of men who stumbled at that whole idea and who wasn't able to endure that grind was these guys down in Miami. The ex-head of the camp, two guys down there, where they stumbled at the decree that the Apostle Taha sent down in order to do 3 videos a week, which was an example of those men not understanding what they was getting themselves into, man. Your mindset gotta be a certain spirit on you to function in Greatmillstone. And the spirit of laboring and doing a laborious work, that spirit gotta actually rest on you, man. All right, you can't come into this thing, with no external, alternative motives, notoriety. You gaining some type of limelight or companionship. Just to dwell amongst brothers. Your main objective should be doing the work and serving Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right. So with that, I want to start off in the book of Luke, the 15th chapter. I'm going to start at the 11th verse. All right, a parable which was spoken by Yahweh Shai, which pretty much sums up the sequence of events that had to take place when you return to the Lord. All right, and the Lord spoke it in a parable. So this is Luke 15 and 11, and he said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me, and he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the young son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swines did eat, and no man gave unto him. And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough to spare, and I perish with hunger, right? So this is symbolic to the elect. The scriptures say when he came to himself, he thought about his father, man. And that's what happened to us. We came to ourselves, meaning, we woke up. Verse 18, I will arise and go to my father and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. So you see the steps that's required when returning to the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. You got to be in the mindset of serving the Lord. You got to become a servant. And Great Millstone embodies that spirit, the spirit of the grind. So if you're not one to be prepared to work and to serve Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah in season, out of season, when it's convenient or not, when you feel like it or not, when you're tired or not, if you're not in that mind state, then this is not the place for you, man. And you have men who join the camps and they eventually fall out. They stumble, which another instrument that the Lord, well, the main instrument that the Lord used for people to stumble is Great Millstone. Great Millstone is that mighty stone of stumbling, and not just to those externally, to those oppositional forces like the so-called Christians in these different camps, G-Man or whoever, man. It was not set up for them to stumble, but for also the men that come into the fold, that come amongst us, it was set up for them to stumble. And a lot of men have stumbled to their demise, have stumbled to their destruction. Why? Because they came into this truth and ultimately they were slothful. See, that's what it all comes down to. If you can go to each man out here that have fallen out of these camps, man, the main motivation or the source is going to come from them getting weary, man. They can make all the excuses in the world. They can say, well, the head of the camp, he wasn't right, or Apostle Taha wasn't right. These guys wasn't right. But deep down, it all comes from what? Them not being willing to grind. And this thing is a grind, man. All right? This is the book of Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, the 6th chapter. And I'm going to start at the 19th verse. It says, come unto her as one that ploweth and soweth, and wait for her good fruits. Right? So that's the mentality, man. When you wake up to this knowledge, you begin to learn, which another statement Apostle Taha made, which is true. Really, before you come into the camp, you should know, man. You should know the scriptures, man. You should be well learned. All right? This is not a babysitting club, man. This is not a thing where you come in and men walk you through and hold your hand. When you come into this truth, you should be learned, man. Now, it's going to be certain things you don't know, but for the most part, you should have the basics down. You should be one that's ready to teach when you come into the camp. Meaning you got the tools. Like if you go to a construction site, if you're a construction worker or you're a mechanic, when you get on the job site, you got to have tools, man. So it's no different than in this truth. When you come in, you can't come in naked. You gotta have the tools. All right? So again, it says, come unto her as one that ploweth and soweth, and wait for her good fruits. And that's what you saw those guys down in Miami, they error. And then I'm just using them as an example. They the latest example, but any of these guys that falling out from the West Coast to the East Coast, near and far, man, it was because they wasn't prepared to grind. And if they were spiritual, they would know that name millstone, which, by the way, when you go into the definition of millstone, it means responsibility, duty, inescapable duty, burdensome. So when you come into this truth, man, this is work. This is work. It says, for thou shalt not toil much in laboring about her, but thou shalt eat of her fruits right soon. She is very unpleasant to the unlearned. He that is without understanding will not remain with her. And you got to understand what you're getting into. And I remember maybe a year or two back, this reprobate Baloo and that demon Yakanan, Avenger of the Devil, he pretty much, those guys pretty much was basking in the glory of men leaving Great Millstone, as if that was a bad thing. But guess what? This lines up with the scriptures, man. All right. Great Millstone links up with 1 John, 2nd chapter, 19th verse. If they was of us, they would have no doubt continued with us. So for all you guys that, talk shit, like GMS losing members, and well, that links up with the scriptures, man. All right, meaning that we're written in the book of life. This lines up with what's written in these scriptures. Verse 21, she will lie upon him as a mighty stone of trial, and he will cast her from him ere it be long. And that's what happens when a guy come into this truth and they see the grind, they see it's a grind, You get out there on the streets, from your view in the house, sitting on your comfortable, padded seat with your hot chocolate, and you watching, the videos, you watching the brothers out on the streets. It look cool, man. But when you actually get out there, you standing on that concrete, you grinding for hours. All right, during the week, you putting up lessons. Which, hey, this is not a burden to me, man. Through the Spirit. And again, the Spirit of the Lord gotta have. The Spirit gotta be on you, man. You gotta be designed to grind. You gotta be a worker bee, man. All right, this is not nothing that's a burden to me, And I'm pretty sure all the other brothers you see out there that's diligent and doing what they got to do, man. The Spirit designed us to do that. The Most High designed us to do this. For an example, if you desire to play offensive lineman on a football team, well, if you weigh 150 pounds soaking wet, then you're not built for that, man. You could desire it all day, but you got to be designed to play that position, or you're going to be out of position. And to be amongst Greatmillstone, this is a thing of work. Goddamn, to show how a nigga is, man. Niggas in Miami, these niggas got offended because they was told to do the work, man. What the hell you think Greatmillstone is about? If you were spiritual, you would know that a great millstone or a millstone symbolizes the grind. A slow grind, which requires patience, man. And again, if you are one looking to cross over and you looking to join Greatmillstone, then my advice to you is to prepare yourself to work, man. This is not a thing of relaxing, man, or kicking back. This is all about working. We are servants of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. All right? So, that's pretty much it. Spirit just got on me to do this lesson because Greatmillstone is symbolic for working. It's symbolic for the grind. It's not, that's what you should take from the men of Greatmillstone, the diligence and the grind, the work ethic, okay? The effort, the work we put in, man. That's what you should take from that. And if you join or if you're a part of this thing, you need to gear up your mind and understand that what this is about. All right? Shalom.